Welcome to Firespor's Top 10 List of 2024, a video where I will be naming and praising the objectively best shows, movies, and games that have ever existed in the year 2024. Move over, Astrobot. Take a seat, Arcade. This list is only for the most hype-inducing, emotionally effective, and artistically produced pieces of media to have graced the presence of human knowledge through this side of the 21st century. I hope you're ready to be amazed and emotionally overwhelmed, because I'm diving right into it with... Number 10, Concord.
It's just for me, that bit. It's just for me. Okay. Okay, here we go, ladies.
Okay. But for real this time. Number 10.
Hey, Charlie! Hey, Charlie, wake up!
Charlie the Unicorn. And no, I'm not kidding this time. Hear me out. Charlie the Unicorn is a strange old miniseries that was pivotal in forming my sense of humor and inspiring my love of the bizarre. And while its early episodes entirely consist of strange one-off gags and nonsensical bits,
Muchas historias asombrosas.
its 40-minute finale takes an insane left turn off a cliff that ends up jumping the track and landing it in 10th place. Its visuals are silly, occasionally horrifying, and its musical numbers are really catchy. If for nothing other than the nostalgia and the sheer ambition of its ending, Charlie the Unicorn is a piece of internet history that deserves to be shared and remembered for a long time to come. Speaking of hard left turns... Number 9. Laika Age Through Blood is a game with solid mechanics, really good writing, and a brutal, gut-wrenching setting. You play as Laika, an immortal biker with the responsibility of saving her people from an army of militant colonialist birds as they spread across the land, mining it for all it's worth. This game has light Metroidvania elements, but it's more about its story than exploration. Driving and shooting feel really good, and its art and music perfectly set a tone of somber desolation. This game's setting is rich and thought out, its locations are scarred by old wars, and its characters all have distinct personalities and relationships with Laika. Of these relationships, the bond between Laika and her daughter Puppy steal the show completely. Puppy is written perfectly as a sheltered but curious child growing up on the outskirts of war. Her questions are innocent but piercing, and in the brief moments you spend with her, you get to witness this precocious little girl grow up in the time that you're away. Puppy genuinely breaks my heart, and the chance of giving her a future worth living makes fighting this war worth every hardship. Through its pacing shortfalls and occasional mechanical speed bump, Laika Age Through Blood tells a heavy and compelling story about war, family, and sacrifice that's not afraid to hit you in the gut and leave you with a weight that's hard to shake off. Number 8. This series is nuts in the best way. It starts with a grounded military training exercise being interrupted by an alien invasion, and when all seems lost, a boisterous, colorful, sentient mech suit drops out of the sky, demands that this specific guy has to get inside of him, and then saves the day while blasting his own theme music. Things only get stranger from there as the military must join forces with Bravern to save the Earth from these mecha generals that are all powered by little girls and weirdly horny for death. It's hard to get into more details without spoiling its best bits, but if you're looking for something with an opening like this, and an ending credits like this, then Bang Brave Bang Bravern is here to deliver. Number 7. There she is. This Newgrounds miniseries just means the world to me, and because its latest part was put on YouTube this year, I'm putting it on this list. There She Is an adorable romance story about Doki, a rabbit girl, and Nabi, a cat boy, that takes the form of 5 animated music videos. At first, she likes him and he's afraid of her, but once Nabi is able to open up a little, their romance blossoms into something really, really cute, and the hijinks that ensue are a lot of fun to watch. The romance is adorable and well animated, but it's not without its turmoil. The society they live in is strictly against their relationship, and this tension grows into something far larger than either of them is ready for. The humor is delightful, the drama is weighty, and its high points never fail to make me smile. If you have half an hour, you can watch the entire main series in that time, and I can't recommend it enough. There She Is Another Step tells the story of Ilho and Yiho, two of the spiky rabbits who show up to oppose Nabi. It's more action-focused than the main series, and its story didn't quite connect with me as strongly as the main parts, but I'm really glad that it got a public release. Number 6.
Dungeon Meshi. Ah, Dungeon Meshi.
As an avid Dungeons & Dragons player and Dungeon Master, Dungeon Meshi is an absolute feast of a show in more ways than one. Stellar animation, well fleshed out characters, incredible character design, unique takes on classic monsters, and thoroughly thought out dungeon ecosystems make Dungeon Meshi a lit match eager to set off a spark of creative inspiration. Each character has their own entire life going on that this show pieces together for you over the course of its first season. Different characters have their own ways of thinking and acting that are clearly distinct from each other and that clash and work together in all sorts of fun ways. Where this series excels especially is in its world building. The way it uses its monsters and characters to create a living, breathing world is nearly unparalleled. And the care it takes to showcase its world helps this series shine bright as a highlight of fantasy fiction. Number 5. Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Frieren Beyond Journey's End is a beautiful series that takes place in a fantasy world after the heroes have saved the world. It follows Frieren, the adventuring party's immortal elven mage, who has a slightly different grasp on time. Frieren's immortality and prolonged isolation results in her missing the chance to spend time with her friends, particularly Himmel, the party's leader. It's only after his death that Frieren realizes just how different life is for non-elves and how little time they have. The show's latest arc, the First Class Mage Exam, takes a less contemplative approach to its story and pits Frieren and Fern into fierce competition alongside and against a handful of new mages, each with their own interesting personalities and magical specialties. The new characters are fun additions to the show, and the various competitions they undertake are great chances for each of them to shine in their own ways. Not the least of which is a chance to finally see Frieren go up against an opponent as powerful as she is, and this fight does not disappoint. Number 4. Arcane, Season 2. That's right, stand back up Arcane, you're on the list. Arcane's first season is some of the best TV I have ever watched, hands down, and it would have topped my list if I had made one in 2021. And while its second season did its best to meet those expectations, there was just too much to cover for this 9-episode season to reach those same highs. Arcane's art direction is fantastic, the character designs are striking and evolve as the show goes on, the environments are fully inhabited, and the animation is at the top of its art form. But the best visuals in modern TV will only carry you so far if the story you're telling doesn't have the time it needs to really stick with your audience, and Arcane fell victim to its own ambition. That's not to say it was poorly written, but the divide between my hopes for this season compared to the final product and its shortcomings created a void that wasn't unsatisfying but wasn't quite fulfilling either. Despite my complaints, Arcane at its worst is still leagues above much of what's available to watch. Like I said when I was talking about The Ruined King, I love Runeterra and its characters, and the way this show took some of League's most flat and awkward champions and fleshed them out into some of the most memorable characters on TV is remarkable and worthy of high praise. Seeing Piltover and Zahn brought to life and the numerous Easter eggs threaded throughout the show was incredible. So, while its story was rushed and its song lyrics could be a little on the nose, Arcane's overall quality and artistic ambition are hard to rank any lower than this. Number 3. Portal and Portal 2. I replayed the Portal series this year, and what can I say? These games are so good. They're creative, funny, a little scary, and very succinct. Portal is the perfect introduction to the setting of Aperture Science and all of its quirks. GLaDOS is an excellent antagonist and carries the personality of the whole game on her imaginary mechanical shoulders. The portal gun is an excellent game mechanic with lots of room for learning how it works and messing with its limits. Portal 2 takes everything great about Portal 1 and just adds more of it. Another AI core named Wheatley is added to the character roster, who plays off of GLaDOS perfectly. More mechanics are introduced like the gels and light bridges, and more of the Aperture Science facility is exposed to you as you delve into its depths and learn about its secrets. If you haven't played the Portal games and you're not afraid of a little motion sickness, you have to give these games a try. They're like $5 on Steam if you get them on sale. Number 2. My Hero Academia Season 7. Maybe I'm basic for this, but damn it, I really enjoyed this season of My Hero Academia. The fights were great, the twists were exciting, and they brought back so many characters in great moments that were just really well done. Like, Season 6 was really good already, and they topped it completely with this new season. Maybe there were parts that dragged a little. Toga's Sad Man's death parade felt like it should have been way more dangerous than it was, but the highs of the season were so good that they completely overshadowed its faults. They built Shigaraki into this unstoppable mutant apocalypse and still managed to deliver a convincing back and forth between the hero sides and the villains. I know this show has its faults, but man, I can't deny that when it hits, it hits. Before I reveal my number 1 pick for Thing of the Year, I'd like to slip in some honorable mentions. Ring Fit Adventure is a silly game that actually got me to exercise somewhat regularly, and just for that it deserves some praise. Also, there's a whole chapter where the ab guy spends the entire chapter killing children, and I'm not making that up. Ultraman Rising is a really sweet movie about Ultraman raising a baby kaiju. Emmy is the perfect little baby monster and just the cutest thing ever. The finale of Demon Slayer's Hashira training arc felt like mostly last-minute backstories for all the Hashira, which were pretty whatever, but damn, did that final episode pop off. Brother's Son is a show that I never would have watched on my own if not for my mom, but it was really good. The fights were cool, and the brothers and family had really good dynamics. Transformers 1 was a cool movie that told its story really well and had some great action. Was it insane of me to put Charlie the Unicorn above all of these? Maybe. In fact, tell me in the comments which one of these should have gotten the number 10 spot. But, without further ado, there was one thing I engaged with this year that latched onto my absurdist sense of humor, that had emotional moments that stuck with me, that had moments so wild I was shouting at the screen, tickled my inner romantic, inspired me to be a better DM, had impactful theatrical battles, ended each part with full satisfaction, intrigued me with its world building and mysteries, and used its full cast to the best of its ability. The number 1 spot on my list this year goes to Dimension 20, Fantasy High.
Say hi, intrepid heroes!
Hi, intrepid hero! Box out!
Fantasy High is a Dungeons & Dragons game show where Brennan Lee Mulligan DMs for a cast of 6 players. Across the 3 seasons that I watched, the players adventure across the world of Spire, a setting that bridges classical high fantasy with modern suburbia. High elven councils clash with modern ways of living, while ancient evils scheme in the back rooms of high schools and shopping malls. And while this whole thing sounds gimmicky, I can assure you the world of Spire is fully fleshed out and brought to life through genuine characters.
Really sorry that I prioritized my dad's over you. You're allowed to be.
Something I get. I was just like you.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna die.
And fascinating magical histories that greatly impact the stories that take place. The cast of Fantasy High are all seasoned comedians and friends who are committed to bringing their characters to life, whether through chaotic banter.
Crab King! I'm a little shrimp! I'm a little shrimp! Riz is getting emotional drunk. Shrimp are so little and sometimes they just get caught in the nets and stuff.
Or heartfelt emotions.
You wouldn't say that! You're not a coward, Adon! You're sick! You just need medicine! You gotta come and talk to me! This is my job, goddammit!
Every cast member brings a manic and genuine energy that had me laughing, crying, and screaming through the highlights of the show. Every player character has a network of NPCs that help tell their stories, and Brennan brings such distinct life to each and every one of them. These networks then begin to intersect as the cast of characters all grow closer together, and the ways they develop are just so much fun to watch. Every season brings another chance to explore this zany fantasy world alongside its players and characters, from ancient dragons and nightmare gods to absent parents and popularity contests. Fantasy High commits to balancing and integrating these adverse ideas into insanely fun and cohesive narratives. I can't even exaggerate just how engrossed I was watching this series and how excited I am to watch other parts of Dimension 20 once I have the time. And there you have it, my top 10 things from this year. It was a bit of a weird one. I got a little more into the editing this time, so it took a little longer. If you made it this far and you still couldn't tell, I don't really have a clear rubric for what makes these lists. This year was largely just things I wanted to talk about. Charlie the Unicorn was 10th place because it felt niche enough that other people wouldn't know about it, and I just needed more people to see its ending. Originally, I was going to try to do some kind of award show video, but that seemed like it would be even more work than this top 10, and with school and stuff, I just didn't have the time. But in lieu of that, here are a couple awards for a few things that didn't make the list, but I don't know, I wanted to put somewhere. Anyway, like this video, leave a comment, let me know what your top 10 things of 2024 were. See you next year, I guess.
Oh, what happened? Oh, they took my freaking kidney.
It's just for me, that bit. It's just for me.